Ever dreamed of a real-life treasure hunt? What if I told you that just before his big baseball game, a young boy named Quintin stumbled upon an adventure that would change everything? This isn't just any story, this is Quintin's epic adventure. It all started on a sunny Saturday morning. Quintin was supposed to be practicing his swing for the championship game, but his furry best friend, Keesha the Chow, had other plans. Keesha, with her fluffy mane and curious nose, started digging frantically near an old oak tree in the backyard. Quintin, thinking it was just another squirrel chase, went to pull her away. But then he saw a glint of metal hidden beneath the roots. It was an old, rusted box. His heart pounded with excitement. Could it be real treasure? This discovery was just the beginning of a quest that would lead them far beyond their own backyard. Together, Quintin and Keesha carefully opened the box. Inside, there wasn't gold or jewels, but something even more intriguing: a weathered map, a strange-looking compass, and a small, intricately carved wooden bird. The map was hand-drawn, filled with cryptic symbols and landmarks Quintin had never seen before. One symbol looked like a series of baseball diamonds, and another looked suspiciously like Keesha. A note at the bottom read, "Where the wild things sing and the diamond shines bright. Your true treasure awaits in the fading light." Quintin's baseball game was in just a few hours, but the pull of adventure was too strong to ignore. He knew he couldn't do this alone. With Keesha, his ultimate treasure-hunting sidekick, by his side, they decided to follow the map. This wasn't just about finding treasure anymore. It was about solving a mystery, and Quintin had a feeling his baseball skills might come in handy. The first clue on the map led them to the local nature preserve, a place Quintin thought he knew like the back of his hand. But the map guided them off the beaten path, deep into a part of the woods he'd never explored. The air grew thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. Strange bird calls echoed through the trees, making the hair on Quintin's arms stand up. This was the wild things sing part of the riddle, for sure. Keesha, however, was in her element, her tail wagging furiously as she sniffed out the trail. They encountered creatures they'd only seen in books: a shy deer that watched them with wide, gentle eyes, a family of raccoons that chattered at them from a high branch, and even a magnificent red-tailed hawk circling overhead. It was like stepping into a different world. The compass, which didn't point north, seemed to be guiding them towards specific sounds and animal sightings. It was a challenge, but Quintin was learning to trust his instincts and his loyal companion. As they ventured deeper, the challenges grew tougher. They had to cross a babbling brook by balancing on a fallen log. Quintin almost slipped, but Keesha's reassuring bark gave him the courage to keep going. He was learning perseverance, a skill just as important on a treasure hunt as it is on the baseball field. Next, they faced a puzzle of twisted vines that blocked their path. Quintin remembered how his coach taught him to look for patterns to anticipate a pitch. He applied the same logic here, finding a way to weave through the natural maze without getting tangled. Each obstacle they overcame made him feel more confident. He wasn't just a baseball player anymore. He was an explorer, a problem solver. And with every step, Keesha was right there, a constant source of support. Her calm demeanor in this wild environment taught Quintin the importance of staying composed under pressure, a lesson he knew would help him later that day at the game. The map eventually led them to a clearing where a giant, ancient rock stood, shaped oddly like a catcher's mitt. This had to be it. The riddle mentioned a diamond shining bright. It was midday, and the sun was high in the sky. Quintin realized the diamond wasn't a jewel, but the baseball diamond at the park, which was visible from this high vantage point. And the fading light wasn't about sunset. It was about a specific shadow. Using the carved wooden bird from the box, he noticed it had a small hole drilled through it. He held it up, and at just the right angle, a beam of sunlight passed through the hole and projected a small point of light onto the rock. It was a perfect X marks the spot. He and Keesha started digging, their excitement building with every pawful and handful of dirt. They were so close. This journey had taught him so much about navigation, problem-solving, and trusting his partner. Beneath the dirt, they found another wooden box, this one much newer and beautifully crafted. Quintin's hands trembled as he opened the lid. Inside was not gold, but a collection of vintage baseball cards, an old leather baseball glove that looked just like his grandfather's, and a letter. The letter was from his grandpa, written years ago. He wrote about his own childhood adventures in these very woods and how he created this treasure hunt for his future grandchild. He wanted to share his love for both baseball and nature. The true treasure wasn't riches. It was the adventure itself, the memories made, and the connection between generations. Quintin felt a wave of emotion wash over him. He hugged Keesha tightly, realizing this was the best treasure he could have ever found. It was a piece of his family's history, and a story he would cherish forever. Suddenly, Quintin remembered the game. He checked his watch. He still had time, but he had to hurry. With the box tucked safely in his backpack, he and Keesha raced back through the woods, their path now familiar. He felt different. The woods weren't scary anymore, they were magical. The challenges hadn't defeated him. They had made him stronger. He arrived at the baseball field just as his team was finishing their warm-ups. His coach looked at him, a little worried. "You ready, Quintin?" "You seem different." Quintin just smiled and said, "I've never been more ready." He felt a new sense of calm and focus. The pressure of the championship game seemed small compared to navigating a mysterious forest with only a map and his dog. The life skills he had just unlocked, patience, problem-solving, and courage, were about to be put to the ultimate test on the field. Stepping up to the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning, with the bases loaded and the score tied, Quintin felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. But this time it was different. He wasn't nervous. He was centered. He remembered the fallen log, the tangled vines, the patience it took to find the spot on the rock. He took a deep breath, picturing the path through the woods in his mind. He looked over at the stands and saw his parents, and right beside them, wagging her tail, was Keesha. She let out a small bark, as if to say, "You've got this." The pitcher wound up and threw a fastball, right down the middle. Quintin saw the ball not as a threat, but as an opportunity. He swung, not with frantic energy, but with the focused strength he'd discovered on his adventure. Crack! The bat connected perfectly. The ball soared high and deep into the outfield. The crowd erupted as the ball flew over the fence. A grand slam. Quintin had won the game for his team. As he rounded the bases, his teammates cheering wildly, he knew this victory was more than just about baseball. It was a victory for adventure, for curiosity, and for the incredible bond he shared with his best friend, Keesha. Later that evening, as he cleaned the dirt off his grandfather's old glove, he realized the treasure hunt had given him more than just a win. It had given him confidence, a deeper connection to his family, and an appreciation for the world around him. He learned that the biggest adventures and the most valuable treasures are often hidden just off the beaten path, waiting to be discovered. And with a loyal sidekick like Keesha, there was no challenge too great and no mystery he couldn't solve. So what's the real takeaway from Quintin and Keesha's incredible day? It's that adventure is everywhere, and sometimes the most important life lessons aren't learned in a classroom or on a sports field. They're learned when we step outside our comfort zones, follow our curiosity, and work together with those we trust. Quintin's journey with Keesha taught him resilience, critical thinking, and the power of a positive mindset. It showed him that skills from one part of life, like baseball, can help in another, like navigating the wild. And most importantly, it highlighted the amazing things we can achieve with a loyal friend by our side. Who knows what adventures await you and your furry companions? Maybe your own treasure map is just waiting to be found. Thanks for joining Quintin and Keesha on their wild treasure hunt. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic adventures.